Smoke detectors are going to be one of the most common devices out in the field for fire alarm systems. Let's take 2 minutes to talk more about some considerations with them. Starting off, location and spacing. Where are they supposed to be? What's the spacing? Environmental requirements. They're smoke detectors. They're looking for smoke, so there's going to be some things that might influence that. Detection considerations. And lastly, adjustments to spacing. So, starting right off with smoke detector location and spacing, smoke detectors can go anywhere on the ceiling. They can go directly in corners, they can go anywhere on the ceiling itself. We don't have an issue with putting them in the corner. You can also sidewall mount them anywhere between directly in the corner or up to 12 inches away from the corner, but not to exceed that. The spacing of your detectors, you do have to have a row within half the spacing off the wall, meaning no more than 15 feet away from the wall. But from one detector to the next, we could put 30 feet between them. Now, with smoke detectors, they require a controlled environment. So we are looking at temperatures between 32 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They've got to be between there for where we can put that smoke detector. Relative humidity of 93% or less, and with air velocities that are less than 300 feet per change per minute. If we've got less than that, we can have our smoke detectors in those areas. Now, in NFPA 72, there's a table that gives us a little bit more understanding of some environmental conditions that will influence your smoke detectors based upon the type of smoke detector and the environmental factor. So, for example, ionization detectors, air velocities greater than 300 feet per minute, going to have an effect. Altitudes greater than 3,000 feet, going to have an effect. Humidity levels greater than 93% will have an effect. Temperatures greater than 100 degrees or less than 32 degrees will have an effect. Smoke color is not going to have an effect. Depending on the type of smoke detector, you can see what environmental factors will have an effect on that particular smoke detector. Adjustments to spacing is another thing that we have to take into consideration, starting with what's the ceiling surface. Ceilings that have projections greater than 4 inches are going to have either considered beams or joists, depending on how far apart they're spaced. That is going to play into the possibility of an adjustment. If your ceiling has a slope that's greater than 1 and 8, how we do spacing is going to have an effect with the smoke detectors. Air movements that are greater than 8 minutes per change or 7.5 changes per hour, we've got to look at adjustments to spacing. NFPA 72 2025 edition has also factored in ceilings that are greater than 40 feet.